He said, lay hands on the sick. Don't pray. He didn't say pray. Lay hands on the sick, they will recover. What is on your hand that you have not discovered? And so when you shake somebody, lay hands is not religiously putting hand on somebody's head. It means touch somebody. And so even when you are traveling in the bus, you just look at the person sitting next to you. You say you are lucky. Because as you are touching me, virtue is entering you. Virtue is entering you. Now, if you have that consciousness, why will you now be afraid that you will die of the cancer? The body that touches somebody else and the person is healed, how can that body now die of sickness? And so when the doctor tells you you have a challenge, you laugh. You laugh and you rise up. You say, cancer, get out. You can't stay here. This body is a balm in Gilead. This is a healing balm. How can virus be in an antivirus? You know these things, you become mad with audacity. You become mad. As you are talking, you know you are not speaking English. You are speaking spirit and life. People may be hearing English, but deeper than English is what you are speaking. I was in a crusade in December in Jos, and I was talking like this. A woman that had goiter. She was already giving drugs to take for 2 years before she goes for surgery. Suddenly goiter vanished. In a moment, goiter. So what am I speaking? Is it English language or radioactive radiation? I went to Pakistan and I was talking. I now discovered I was in trouble because I couldn't preach mysteries. I couldn't ascend to the spirit because everything I said had to be interpreted. So I had to come back to the elementary. When I was done preaching, I didn't feel anything. And while I was talking, I said, now every affliction goes because the gospel has come. And suddenly a woman jumped up and said she's hearing. I didn't speak your language. What did you hear? And even if I spoke your language, you were deaf. How did you hear? That means what we are speaking is not only for hearing, because even the deaf can hear. So what are we speaking? Because when a God is talking to you, he's not only talking for you to hear. Sometimes when he's talking, he's creating. Sometimes when he's talking, he's reprogramming. Sometimes when he's talking, he's killing. Sometimes when he's talking, he's making alive. So they can tell you that 4 weeks ago, we were in a place called Kobe. A young man came up. He was deaf for 30 years. His uncle slapped him and he became deaf. I was not even the one preaching. Got him aside. He is deaf. What is wrong? He said, I'm deaf on my right ear. I put my mouth. I say, open. The question is, if you are not mad, why do you talk to a deaf ear? What will they hear? Ear. That means you are not talking for it to hear. You are talking for it to open. And deaf ear popped open. A lady came to me last week. She submitted her application for visa since June last year. Made every effort to reach them. Nobody is talking to her. And they won't even release her passport. So all her travels shut down. And I finished from service tired. When she came, I said, your passport is released. I didn't know the embassy. I didn't even know the embassy she applied. I didn't know anybody there. Your passport is released in 24 hours. It didn't even take 3 days for you to say it's a coincidence. On Monday, the next day, she was called to come and pick her passport and the visa. The question is, what did you say? But when you know you represent him, talking becomes exciting to you. You will now know that your words are not careless speeches. You know that when you are talking, your utterances becomes the echo of God. And so even when you are talking to somebody, you know you are blessing him by talking to him. When you are talking to somebody, you know you are changing the person's story. So when somebody insults you, he doesn't qualify to hear you talk. So you will not insult him back. You will just ignore him. Because when you talk to him, you will bless him. So you will not even answer him. When somebody is in a crisis, You are careful what you say, because what you say becomes. But all of this power is released when your consciousness becomes right.